Hey guys, how you doing? I just want to give you a quick update of what's been going on this last month. Some of you received an email, but I want to just kind of give you a video update so you can hear me better, and I can say a lot more in a video than I can in an email. There's about 20 of you or so that sewed into all of this. As you know, I've been on a month-long journey of traveling. My family's been here too. We were started in Ohio, and then, or not in Ohio. We were supposed to be in Ohio. We ended up in Wisconsin. And so we went from Wisconsin to Florida. Now we're here in Michigan. And then tomorrow morning, I head out to Phoenix, Arizona. And so it's just been a wonderful time. Just to refresh some of you guys, and for those that sewed into this, I just want to show you some fruit of your seeds and what you did. When I was in Wisconsin, I would say the highlight of the trip for me, there was two things that really happened. I did a conference at Oshkosh Foursquare Church. The Friday night, which is always the opening night of my conferences, I was out front of this church, and we were about to leave, and it was late at night, and there was a porch, and there was a Hindu man on the porch, and I was literally preaching the gospel to him from the street. And he ended up coming Saturday night. I invited him to come. He came the next night, and actually came after my message, came forward for prayer. Some of you may have seen the video. I put like a 15-second clip of this. I prayed for him, and he said he felt the presence of God and the peace of God. And so we ended up taking him out to dinner afterwards, witnessed the gospel to him some more. He didn't get saved on the spot, but that's okay. And I told him how Jesus is encountering Muslims and Hindus in their dreams. And so he actually let me pray over a prayer cloth, or like Paul's handkerchief scenario. And when he said he'd put it underneath his pillow until Jesus came and showed up in a dream. So I believe that God is going to be faithful to show up. And then also too, during the conference, during our outreach time, I had a youth pastor who doesn't believe in healing that was working at a jewelry store that got totally healed. The Lord actually created a brand new ACL. They had a messed up ACL. They were going to need surgery. Completely healed. The Lord actually gave this lady a brand new one, and so that was really cool too. And then we shifted into Florida. Florida was amazing. Just had a really powerful time of impartation, I believe. I spoke on their Friday night service on the power of impartation, and we laid hands on everybody, and we had some people come to us the next day. We went on the outreach the next day, and they were like, wow, something has changed in my life. Something is different. And so that was really cool to hear that people, because this is what it's all about for me. It's about getting people saved, but even more so, getting the church out on the streets to get people saved. And so that's really cool when I hear these kind of stories. People were getting healed. That we went to Disney for a day. People were getting touched and healed. Some of you may have heard, we got to go to the TBN Holy Land experience. I'm sure you've seen it on TV. Super amazing time. We actually got some cool favor because one of the guys that plays Jesus in the main play walked us around the crowd, and we saw so many healings. It was honestly ridiculous. It was really cool. Lots of arthritis and things like that. So God is amazing. And then on June 23rd, I flew from Orlando to Michigan, and I've been here ever since. My wife's here with me and my son, and we're just having a good time and doing some ministry, but also some vacation. God's been doing amazing things. We did a conference at the Grand Traverse House of Prayer. That was fun, awesome. Outreach time was great. And then I spoke at a church Sunday morning called Resurrection Life, which really ended up being such a God thing. A buddy of mine set it up for me. I didn't even know the pastor, which we're now becoming covenant friends. And it's been just a huge blessing for us in that way. When I preached there, it was just so amazing. God poured out His Spirit. We had about 12 people get saved in the second service, come forward to give their lives to Jesus, or those who have backslid and want to rededicate their lives. Same thing though. There were healings. It was just super amazing. Let's just put it that way. Oh, and then one story that comes to my mind real quick that I forgot to share. Back in the Wisconsin trip, when I prayed for the Buddhist man, there was a lady there who had cancer, who I prayed for. Her name was Ellen, and she got totally healed. Doctor's report says there is no cancer in her body, and so I can't believe I forgot to share that one. So that's really amazing. And so I've been, like I said, I've been in Michigan for the last 3 weeks. Ministered just the other night also at my buddy Eric Most has a personal training facility, and he goes to a church called Kensington that I've been doing stuff with for a while. And so we kind of had a gathering at his gym, and it was so much fun. I preached on healing, I preached on deliverance, and I preached on our identity in Christ. And during my healing session, 2 people got totally healed. An older lady with arthritis in her knees got totally healed, and it was a generational curse. So the curse was broken, and then there was a manifestation instantly because her knee was totally restored. We had one girl with her shoulder healed, and so that was just really awesome. And then during the deliverance session, though, it was really, really special because I was able to minister to a lot of things, people identifying that they had possible generational curses operating in their life and things like that. And so we really dealt with those things, and I believe it's just going to be a really fruitful time. And then, yeah, so it's just been an amazing time. There's so many stories here in my hometown. I've been able to tear it up for Jesus a little bit. I'm right here sitting in, this is even the home of my parents' house where I used to just be a nut. You know, I used to sell drugs and had drugs out of this house and just crazy stuff. And but I've been able to minister it a lot here in my hometown. Ran into some old friends downtown that I was able to preach the gospel to. Picked a kid up off the side of the road the other day who ended up being from my same church that I grew up in. All this crazy prophetic stuff, and so he got really touched by the Lord. I picked him up and I took him to his house, and I never met him before, but he knows everyone I know, and it was just his story was almost identical to mine, so it blew him away hearing my testimony. So I prayed for him. The Lord gave me 3 dead-on specific times of suicide in his life. And he just looked at me and said, oh my gosh, how did you know these things? You know, and so God's just doing amazing things, guys. Thank you so much for your financial sowing into this. This trip was so expensive, and you guys helped me for this whole thing. Plane tickets, food money, gas money, rental car money, all that stuff. God has been doing, it has seriously been such an amazing trip, more so than just, you know, the immediate fruit of what you see with these testimonies, but even just, you know, making covenant relationship with some serious ministries that we're going to run with for a while. So that was really, really awesome. And then like I said earlier in the video, tomorrow morning I head out to Phoenix, Arizona. I will be there for about 6 days. I'm going to be with Church for the Nations. Super excited. I'm going to be there for an entire week ministering. So tomorrow night, I'm actually going to be preaching at a halfway house that Church for the Nations is kind of a part of. It's not their thing, but they're very involved in it. It's a house full of transvestites and drug addicts. And so I am like super excited to preach there tomorrow night. I'm believing people are going to get saved, set free, and delivered. And then Tuesday, all day Tuesday, I preach to the interns. There's an internship going on right now at Church for the Nations called the Awaken Internship. So I'm really excited about that. I'm going to be preaching, taking them out on the streets. Wednesday morning, I'll be preaching to them. And then Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, Phoenix, Arizona time, you can log in at churchforthenations.com. If you just go on Google and type in Church for the Nations, you'll find it. It's one of the biggest charismatic churches in Phoenix, actually. It's up. If you guys have heard Patricia King, she's a big part of the church. And super excited to be there. I'm preaching their main service, once again, 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, Church for the Nations, or for short, CFN. I don't even know. What's the acronym for that? Church, CFTN, Church for the Nations. Yeah, so CFTN, look it up on Google. It's going to be really a wonderful time. Super excited. Just for those of you that know me and that are friends with me, this is kind of the biggest thing I've ever done. So I'm a little nervous, actually. So pray for me. This is probably the biggest and largest event I've ever spoke at. You know, some of my heroes in the faith, Heidi Baker, Todd White, Bill Johnson, they've all ministered at this church. And just really honored and humbled to be there. And so I'll be there for a week, and then I will be back in Kansas City to start running hard again and doing the Great Commission Intensive. I'm gonna be preaching at the end of the Great Commission Intensive, which is our evangelism internship at IHOP. And so God's doing wonderful things. Once again, thank you so much for sowing in. Hundreds of people, thousands of people are getting touched because of your guys' financial seed. So we thank you so much. And here's just a small little portion of some fruit you get to hear immediately about what's happened with your financial seed. So thank you. Keep praying for us. Got another week ahead of me, so don't quit praying now. Bless you guys.